Why do I feel like those ticks were slower than normal?
Because your computer is going faster than normal.
Jeez. Are we in the Matrix?
The M1 silicone matrix. Speaking of which, did you hear what happened with Qualcomm?
No. Please do indulge.
So apparently, there's like they got a win against Apple with something to do with their 5G and chip contracts.
Ah,
So they're gonna have to continue to be the majority supplier.
that's actually
I don't
huge.
think Apple was able to pass all the tests right away. But sometimes it pays to have been around.
Damn,
And that being said, we made it.
that's true. You know what that also means? Right now, you know what you tuned into. You tuned into the Everything Validated.
The show where we blend hip hop, finance, and crypto together to make the world better. It's a special edition because it's episode 10, so we had to get back together in this space to get the sound right and the video right.
You know?
So, wagwan.
It's been fantastic. I say that because I'm able to draw breath.
Okay.
Every day that we're living is a new blessing.
That's a good perspective. And it pays to have a new laptop.
I didn't want to stun on them, but we was having some issues, as you guys were familiar with. So we had to, put some budget together and organize for a new piece of equipment, which we are now happy for.
So what's the specs on that?
Yo, we running that 8 gig M1 chip off the 512 SSD. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Normally, I'd be panicking because what's 8 gig doing in this day and age?
For real.
But that M1 chip be working. I can't even downplay it.
So you're getting more out of that RAM.
It's crazy because I've been abusing this laptop and I haven't heard the fan yet. I'm low key kind of concerned because I don't know if there is a fan.
That's what all the reports said, like the Marquise Brownlees and all those videos that they put out about the technology. It said that it stays cool and it could perform better under pressure.
No word of a lie. I be stressed. You know how I stress machines. I got like 30 tabs on. As we speak, I got 30 tabs open.
Tab King.
Tab in. But yeah, I'm actually excited because finally got Final Cut Pro to work. So I'm gonna be
Editing this video.
Abusing that.
You know what I'm saying? Let's see how that thing works for real. And since it's so calm, you might even have to screen record and make a video about you editing the video.
While it's calm.
It's a lot going on out here in the world, Jerome Powell increasing interest rates once again. FTX handing out loans. A lot of crisis surrounding crypto specifically. The Celsius situation. More regulations for miners and others. What is the future of crypto? Find out more at our upcoming blockchain event.
Blockchain Futurist Conference, if you guys are not aware. I don't even think... No, we did sprinkle a little bit the fact that we will also be at the ETH Toronto conference.
ETH Toronto.
If you weren't familiar, but Toronto is the birthplace of Ethereum.
Don't sleep.
And if you want some more facts on that, the creator was just announced as a keynote speaker.
Vitalik, I seen that.
So a lot of gems are about to be dropped. I'm gonna get some key insights on the upcoming Ethereum 2.0.
So if you didn't want to hear from us about crypto, hear from the horse's mouth. I mean, these are second biggest crypto of all time. The founder will be there to speak. That's some valuable information for sure.
So do not sleep on that. Hit us up either in the DM, in the comment section below. We got tickets for the low.
Get your tickets, show up, and get yourself the information so that you're in the right position to make the move. or else you might end up like BlockFi and need a little bailout. So there's a lot to discuss on this episode, but you know, we always get into first things first. How you doing, Mr.RawFix?
As I said, I'm seeing through my eyes, you know.
But what you mean by that? Like, you can't just speak it in these.
Try to drop it off like your average Caribbean, you know. Yo, me just I see through my eye them.
You got new eyes?
Huh? Well, I have a new perspective.
Okay.
And that is remain diligent, 10 toes down. Only control what you could control. And by doing that, it's a lot less stress. Not only that, but I'm looking into getting outside more now that we have the opportunity. So with that being said, whether it's family time, park time, festival time, one thing that I'm now super gung-ho on is conferences.
Okay.
Linking up with more people in our not only our demographic but our field. So that being said, Blockchain Futurist Conference is just the starting. Look into at least before this year ends. I wanna bang out at least 10 more conferences.
So you're finding the importance in putting yourself around people that are aligned with what you want to be aligned with,
Yeah.
business wise and career wise.
Because not only does it help keep the dream alive, but you start to realize there's other people just as gun ho and adamant as you are. So it's nice to surround yourself with that same type of energy.
For real, it's like an amplification, and it just makes that energy stronger.
Yeah, and the networking opportunities is astronomical because instead of reinventing the wheel, find someone that has one portion of the wheel while you have the other, put it together. Now you guys are dominating.
Collaboration over competition. And speaking of wheels, so gas is back under $2 here in Toronto. Is that a win? Do you think long term? Announcements from Doug Ford, as you know, as he usually does, to lower the gas around 10 cents. Um, you know, there's some reports that make it seem like it may be going down more. So what's your feeling on the gas prices?
It was actually funny. I also heard that synopsis saying, "Oh, we should be down 11 cents by the end of the weekend."
Mm-hmm.
Overall, that well, as I stated before, I have no idea where this giant gas price hike came from in the first place.
I mean, don't we though?
We do, but we don't. Like have an idea of where it came from, but at the same time, it's kind of speculative because there's not really anything that directly how would I say it? There's not anything that would specify like, okay, this is the standard price that we're all gonna go with, because it's fair. It felt more like gas companies were like, all right, how much can we really gouge out of the community now that war's happening?
I mean, that's definitely speculative. And I wish there was a way that we can know everything factually for sure about oil prices and the conglomerates that be. But in crypto news specifically, I thought it was pretty interesting. So the Bank of UK chief says crypto has no intrinsic value. In a recent report brought to us by Fortune.com. Now you think that's just hate?
It's one of those like twofolds because one, how it paints out to me is kind of like that blanket tactic where it's like, yeah, this thing has no intrinsic value, it has no meaning, and then when we start to look the other way, the same people that said that this has no intrinsic value or no meaning are the ones buying up majority of the market cap. So now they could have control behind scenes.
Exactly.
And now finally when it becomes prevalent, they're hitting you with the, oh, well, turns out this thing is pretty useful now that we have control.
Yeah, I feel like it was pretty ambiguous. Like to say cryptocurrency has no intrinsic value as a whole, I mean, it's proven to have intrinsic value for some people. And are you referring to certain cryptocurrencies or the worst
Wholeheartedly.
of them? Because there's a bit here saying Bitcoin is not a practical means of payment, but you can still complete a lot of transactions. So I think, like you were saying about seeing through eyes, perspective is a major thing. And then when announcements like this come from major institutions, it can cause a lot of fear or disdain with the asset class, and like you were saying, miss out on what could be a very volatile upside explosion. So if you see it has value and you've done your own research, you can't let these kind of headline reports scare you off from your position for sure.
Turns into that he said, she said.
But that being said, I mean, don't you ever wonder, like, okay, so apparently this is coming as a result of the Celsius situation. And, like, to play devil's advocate, some people would say he's helping because people are getting scammed, people are losing money, people are uh, having misinformation when it comes to where they're putting their money and their ability to get it back and what they signed up for, right? So by him saying it has no intrinsic value, a more risk averse person might definitely reduce their exposure to crypto if they had any at all, and be more inclined to go with something more stable. And in a time like this, I can see why they would want to do that. You know what I mean? So some would say his announcement could be helpful.
Uh, I, I somewhat agree in the sense of this will get the people that, like the misinformed people or the ignorant, or I'd even say the ones that aren't proactive in the crypto society, to let them step out. Reason being, this helps as a overall, because I see it. I'm trying to figure out the best way of explaining this, but basically, if I don't understand something fully and I'm investing, of course I'm going to make mistakes. And when that starts to happen repeatedly, I'm now going to play the ignorant card of, oh, I'm being scammed.
Right.
This is happening. So who's going to step in? The government. Government's going to step in to protect its people. When that happens, we get more regulations. We
Mm-hmm.
get it. It chokes hold things, just like what happened in Canada here. That's why we don't have options. We can't trade Nasdaq options or anything of that type of class because too many people got quote unquote scammed.
Like binary options.
Binary options,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people got scammed,
Right.
quote unquote. But that's people getting into a market that they don't understand. And you're going to have a lot of losers that way. And when we have a lot of losers, someone got to step in and say, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't for our people.
But moreover to that, like also some markets just don't have the same liquidity up here versus down in the US and on the New York Stock Exchange, so and the Nasdaq like you're saying. So it's not really the same kind of comparison, and thus the government does have to protect us from ourselves because the 1% versus 99% ratio is going to hit a lot different in terms of education, in terms of capital, and the ability to leverage that capital from that position. So it is very important to be careful. And I think we should slide into a coin segment before a story, just since we're talking about it anyway. So over here on the Washington Post, they have a quick excerpt here. It says, "What happened with Celsius?" Okay, so I'll just go ahead and read it. Its latest troubles began after Celsius made a big investment in a staking token called ST ETH. ST ETH lets people and companies like Celsius stake on the Ethereum blockchain and earn additional returns through DeFi. A sharp drop in the value of crypto assets in May left ST ETH trading at a discount, and the token became more illiquid. That made it harder for Celsius to raise money for redemptions when users wanted to withdraw their funds. On June 12th, Celsius announced it was halting withdrawals because of extreme market conditions and an apparent effort to ward off the digital equivalent of a bank run. So, and that's just a quick synopsis, not an overall coin breakdown, of course, but Celsius is not only a crypto, but it's a crypto lending platform. Um, it has similarities to BlockFi, and there's some other ones. They allow people to deposit their crypto assets and pay them in interest in crypto. So, I mean, in exchange for allowing them to lend out the assets, just like a bank. And that always kind of interests me. I mean, that point right there, because I mean, outside of Celsius, people want to be decentralized and not be like a bank,
A banking institution.
but it is a finance service and it's crypto, and they find a lot of similarities to the bank and try to leverage those kind of activities. And some of this, the yield percentages are like, how are you gonna make that much money off that? Just generally speaking, you know. Okay, so they have another spot. You want to break this one down?
No worries. All right. So, how can they afford hefty returns? So, the form that offers the accounts, they say they're able to lend customers deposit to institutions, investors at high rates. These institutions sometimes need to borrow crypto to execute their own trades, such as betting that the price of the crypto will fall or to take advantage of the price difference in other financial instruments. But the regulators have said that they believe some crypto lending firms are using the money for other business activities. Some may be investing customer funds in higher risk crypto projects, making a profit on the bets and pocketing the difference. The bottom line is that there aren't any uniform rules for firms to disclose what they do exactly with the deposits and can't be used for. The same goes for decentralized finances or DeFi instruments that also lure crypto investments with sky high interest payments. So essentially, what they're saying is they're a lending platform that is able to promise you back like astronomical returns. Like some platforms I've even seen offer 49% APY. And with that, once they get your money, they're not stipulating, okay, we're putting your money into this asset class in order to grow it, and here's why we're giving you your interest back. Instead, they're doing whatever they're doing behind scenes, and they don't have to disclose it to you. Why? Because they're decentralized.
Mm-hmm.
And then they are now
Well, it's really because they're not regulated. It's not because they're
a
actually
little bit.
decentralized.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole
The
point of
regulations
being.
are imminent because of situations like Celsius and bad examples that leave the people trying to make some money using a crypto lending service when it's gone wrong. You know, it leaves them in a bad situation and then causes an uproar and makes the whole scene look bad. So, I mean, that can be concerning for people trying to make some interest and make some returns on their crypto.
It's crazy because there is lending platforms that actually abide by a safe, kind of like a safe structure. Like, but what I've noticed is those are usually the platforms that don't promise astronomical rates. Platforms such as like a Kraken.
They just added Polygon
Yes, which I
Matic
just seen that actually made me very happy.
for staking.
Yes, and I'm actually in the current market looking for a new Hex staking platform.
Okay,
So
Hex.
all of y'all watching this right now, if you have any recommendations when it comes to some Hex staking, please feel free to either DM or drop a comment.
Hex gang. And yeah, I mean, as a result of Celsius Network going down and halting the withdrawals temporarily, they're being pursued by regulators in 5 U.S. states about that withdrawal freeze. So, I mean, they put out a statement. Also, There was a 70% plunge in their native token because of all this uproar. So Alex Mahinsky uh, did put out a tweet on behalf of Celsius. It says at Celsius Network team is working nonstop. We're focused on your concerns and thankful to have heard from so many. To see you come together is a clear sign our community is the strongest in the world. This is a difficult moment. Your patience and support mean the world to us.
That's, it's actually funny. Celsius, I think, was one of like the first few that announced their halt, because there's been a handful of other crypto pairs that have been kind of performing these same bank halts. Not too recently, my dad, my dad was actually telling me about a token that he was investing in, and the token was promising dividends, and he was receiving his dividends on normal. But then one day when he decided, you know what, let me take out all of my initial earnings, because they had kind of like this free investment program where I don't lock in my earnings. I could withdraw and deposit anytime I feel. So he said, all right, let me take out this withdrawal just so he could move around monies and then do a bigger deposit later. When he did it the first time, nothing happened. Everything went through, no problem. Got his money. So he said, okay, this is working. Puts back the money, locks it back in for a set amount of time. Again, came back, said, you know what, let me move around some monies again. Goes to apply for the second withdrawal. Boom, frozen.
Hit him with the bug.
Said, excuse me?
Nah, the house gotta win.
So then he starts coming to me like, hey, this is going on in with my crypto. Like, what's going on? I was like, maybe they don't have enough market cap. How many other people are trying to withdraw their money at the same time? At the same time, look at the crypto market. Because of where it is, people are getting out because of fear, so they're trying to get all their money back. So now just imagine if I have
Well, what's left of their money back?
even that. So if I have at least 1,000 people trying to withdraw even something as small as $1,000 from 1,000 people one time, I might not have that expendable income
Yeah, just
to
sitting,
be able to give it to you.
just sitting in the house. And that's what happens. Like, you start defaulting on loans if you're one of these exchanges, and then you can't give the money out to the users that's trying to redeem, and that leads us right into what happened with FTX. So Sam Bankman-Fried, he's calling for more crypto exchanges to fail. Says that they're secretly insolvent, and some are already past saving. And he did promise about 250 million to BlockFi in a subordinized way, meaning like in terms of insolvency, they would be the last people to get their money, right? So all the assets still go to FTX. I think it's pretty dope. And he also owns a bunch of other companies, right? Like Alameda Research. And through these other companies, he's buying a lot of digital, like crypto firms, basically, and saving them from defaulting, if I understand correctly. I thought it was funny because on CoinGeek they said Sam Bankman-Fried on brink of cajillionth bailout for crooked crypto platforms. Oh man. So at the time this was written, it was not finalized, but as I said, 250 million in credit facility for BlockFi, and then also he was trying to have a deal where he can get ownership of BlockFi, just outright, because other companies were trying to pursue getting that majority ownership too. So it's just kind of funny to me because it's not his first time. I mean,
Might have to call him the superhero of the crypto market.
they're calling them JP Morgan out here.
Give him the cape.
And it's like at every chance they can, there's, and in terms of I mean media, there's a comparison of crypto and people in crypto to the banking system. It's just so funny to me. So, yeah, I mean, they go on in this article by CoinGeek to say how he acquired Liquid Group and then loaned them 120 million because their assets got hacked. He had a 7.6% stake in Robinhood. Robinhood had incredible success as a trading platform. So, I mean, what do you think this means for BlockFi? Are you gonna make it out of this alive?
To be super honest, they're. I feel in order to save face, they're gonna have to come up with something to make the consumer feel safe again. That's one aspect, and two, they're gonna need they
Well,
made
sorry to cut you off. Not to cut you off, but like you said to feel safe again. Wouldn't you feel safer knowing that you were one of the ones he would want to buy out?
yes, yes. But now for the longevity of BlockFi, I'd be more panicked of a situation like this to happen again. So I would need some sort of disclaimer to let me know, like, you have my best interest at heart.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of people are waiting for that, but I mean, with respect to where the market is, um, and apparently Monday, crypto hedge fund Three Arrows Capital defaulted on a $670 million loan. So these are the kind of situations when we're talking about Celsius and not being able to pay back users. I mean, it can get sticky.
That's past sticky. That's slime.
Oh man, what do you say? You're dealing with me rough. All that.
Oh no.
I was getting beat up in the market.
Which goes to show you kind of have to be careful with wherever you place your money, period. Right now we're in the season of making sure your money's kind of on a hard wallet, because if any of these platforms default, or if any of these platforms can't pay me out, or they go under, they go bankrupt, my money's gone too. There's no insurance company backing this.
I mean, there there's no insurance company backing it, but the volatility is advertised. I
Yeah.
mean, no one's thought crypto is like completely 100% safe. It's just funny that when people with a lot of capital come out and say that DeFi was essentially a Ponzi scheme, but also try to save the space at the same time.
So that goes to show you
So,
the grand scheme.
and then on across the ocean, crypto has no intrinsic value. So I can see why there's some reluctance to delve into the space, and it's always important to only invest in industry leaders across all asset classes. Um, but I thought it was interesting here. Here it is. It was saying, the article goes on to say, the fate of Celsius may lie with none other than Goldman Sachs. The Wall Street Titan is reportedly looking to raise up to $2 billion to acquire the troubled lender's assets. What assets, we hear you cry, in the event in the event of a bankruptcy filing. So, I mean, even Goldman Sachs still thinks there's some sort of value. Maybe it's just to the user's information. I mean, or was the information private in the first place?
That goes to show.
It begs a whole lot of questions.
That brings up the thought: was Celsius um, a private crypto, or was it a public? And what kind of information are they actually holding for Goldman Sachs to be licking their chops?
If anyone from Celsius wants to come tap in with us, we got free promo for you if you sit down for an episode of the Everything Validated podcast,
We'll
and you
make
can
sure.
explain the situation to us, clear everything up. We
No,
got you.
he said, she said.
You know what I'm saying? Facts. So yeah, shout out Sam Bankman-Fried, keeping the space alive in a sense.
Right? He's one of the heroes in our society.
And with that, you get a story wrapped into a coin segment. That's not FUD. That's all facts. What's going on right now? Um, but there's more,
It gets better.
right? So specifically to Canadians, CBC.ca article here. Thought this was pretty eye catching. Nearly 1 in 4 homeowners say that they'd have to sell their home if interest rates rise more, according to a survey.
I believe it. When's interest rates ever been this high? The past like 40 years? We've never seen increases like this.
I think that's what was going on. But I mean, if you're if you're our age, what does that mean?
You can never live in.
Like it's always it's all at an all time high. Like we're just growing. Like just it's just interesting to me. Like because the fact that quantitative easing and all that growth from the pandemic had the interest rates kind of down, I guess, in a, and then people were buying these homes, and now it's back up, so it's gonna change their payments and change the whole rate at which they're gonna be able to pay that off, and it's changing the affordability for people. But I just wonder how many people actually
Capitalized.
like actually factor that one in though, like like you didn't get any industry advice before you bought that house, or did you agree at that time it's always good to buy a house, which some view as a philosophy, and I don't disagree with that. It's always good to buy a house if you can kind of afford it. So I don't know, like it's by Manulife Bank of Canada. We all know Manulife. And apparently, the survey was conducted between April 14th and 20th in response to the interest rate hike announcement, because at the time it was still going to happen. And they say they're still on a path to tame inflation, which is now at a 31-year high. So you're on the ball of 6.8%.
That's crazy.
And then they did go ahead and raise it, as we know, by half a percentage point on June 1st. And now the question is, with the U.S. continuing to raise it, it seems inevitable that we're going to continue to raise ours. There was a statement our ministers gave out that saying that they they refuse to. Let me not mess up that one. That one was funny.
Let's quote.
Yeah, like it was. Words like more forcefully, and like they're basically not backing down. They're not
word candy.
Yeah, they're not gonna fold to inflation. So, what does that mean, you think, for homeowners? Or is this survey kind of like, like you were saying, word service? Like, is it clickbait?
Well, we're seeing it in real time. As houses go up, so do the prices.
Right.
And as that happens, our way of life kind of remained the same. So if everything else is getting more expensive, my pay rate's not really changing. But to make matters worse, even if you do increase my pay rate, guess what? My employer has to increase everything as well, because now his expenses have gone up. His expenses goes up. Everything else goes up.
Right.
So it's this weird rat race. So I see things, my bad.
No, go ahead. It's just like, when does the accountability and expectation and the foresight come in?
That's the crazy part, because how I feel everything's getting pushed, it's going to be the equivalent of any newer or young generation coming up in like already developed cities are now going to have to move outbound and start looking towards the underdeveloped cities.
It's funny you say that, because according to the same survey, it also found that 2/3 of Canadians do not view home ownership as affordable in their local community. And we see that all the time in Toronto. People be moving wherever they got to move, and they'll drive to where they got to go to continue to work. But they have to try to find a home that's affordable because of the influx of people all the time. So it's actually a situation that makes me think, because the reason why I said clickbait is because this is done by Manulife, And well, let me just read this quote. Some Canadians made decisions to take their mortgages out based on what they could be approved for and maybe didn't get some financial advice to say, well, I know I can get approved for a mortgage, but at this particular level, but what can I actually afford? Said Lisa Fitzgerald, Vice President of Sales at Manulife. And of course,
Wow.
they would be in the business of selling financial advice, but I respect that they give us those gems for free. So, you know, sometimes there's clickbait in the headline, but that's marketing, right? There's actually value in getting financial advice. I think I think if people are surprised that these rates are going up after buying their home in the last 1 or 2 years, I mean, they should not be surprised, to say the least.
What I find even more funny, say I did buy my house 2 years ago, and as everything was going up, so did my house value. I've seen some situations where I know of some people they bought an $800,000 home 2 years ago, and now that same $800,000 home is hitting for almost 2 million just because of the market boom. But now the problem is they're living primarily in the GTA. If they were to liquidate said house, where are they moving to? You felt that too, right? That was crazy. But yeah, so now if they were to liquidate that house, where are they moving to?
And then to that effect, they also increased how much uh, landlords can increase their rent in Ontario. So
What's really affordable?
we got to move somewhere, and we will. Just like we got to eat, and we're still buying food at these increased prices. We're just patiently waiting for the correction and praying that everyone can be at the best
Like,
for themselves during these times, and to understand their situation. Another survey, right? So this is TD Real Estate found that 26% of Canadians don't have a good understanding of the impact of rising rates, and while 38% are confused about what the hikes mean for them, nearly 40% don't know the difference between variable and fixed rates, right? So that's that's a huge highlight as to why everything validated exists, because this information has to be disseminated. I mean,
can you
fixed
imagine
versus
getting a
variable,
fixed rate right now?
that'd be sick.
Fam.
But like, it depends.
We're in such an uncertain market that it could hit.
No, it's gonna hit because we're going up. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not even trying to give you that right now, man. Or not as something you want to fix in at. That's crazy talk. What's your outlook then on the real estate market?
To be
Knowing
super
that,
honest, if I'm getting into real estate, I'm not looking anything within our province.
and are you getting a professional, or are you gonna try to, go ahead at that with just a lawyer?
Well, I'm I'm a firm believer in for self, but not going in uneducated. So of course, things I'd walk with: a good lawyer, a good real estate agent,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a region you're not familiar with, um, and a good engineer or surveyor.
Mm.
Reason being, you could find some gems, some holes in the wall, but you might be getting into a market where, say, for example, it could be historical housing. So you might be buying something run down with the thought of flipping it, and next thing you know, because it's heritage housing or historical housing, I can't make any of those upgrades.
Mm.
So now I'm sitting on a lemon in a sense, or I might as well turn it into the something to look at. But that's besides the point. Trying to make residual income or trying to have somewhere to live.
Absolutely.
So that's my take. I'll walk with those three: lawyer, agent, and a surveyor.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm on a pursuit to save $1. Like, I'm about to register myself as a real estate agent, loan provider, appraiser, lawyer. I'm about to just do it all myself if I can. But I'm also open to some good help if people got me on that, because it's crazy out here. And I'm about to start acting like the Bank of Canada. The phrase I was looking for, the quote is more forcefully. They said they are prepared to act more forcefully to combat inflation and the consumer price index. So hopefully they do, and hopefully there's a quick change.
Right? Because right now, this is egregious.
Until then, you just keep tuning into Everything Validated podcast because you know we got the best gems and information, but also we got stories. So coming up next is story time. So I'm gonna tell you like this. You know, anniversary weekend. I'm with the lady, right? We're driving up to Niagara.
Spin a minute.
For sure, for sure. So passing one of those underpasses on the highway, I see this protest, a whole lot of signs and people, you know, trying to honk and all this, you know. Who is James Top? And you know, the who is just makes it so intriguing, like the little hashtag. You want to see what the campaign is about, especially up here. People don't get rowdy over too much. You know, unfortunately, there's a lot of protests and people are pretty free in speaking about that. But like, I mean, I just don't see that every day. So I looked it up. I'm like, let me, you know, I'm the people. I want to see what it's about.
Yeah, yeah.
So National Post had a nice way of summing it up. 1 second. Is it just me or are we coming in low? Okay, so National Post reads, James Top was charged in February with 2 counts of conduct to the prejudice of good order and discipline for comments made while wearing his uniform and since been leading a 4-month march to the capital from Vancouver. And when they say his uniform, it's his veteran, like military uniform, because he's a veteran. I didn't like how some media outlets just called him a soldier. Like, there's a word for that. Anyway, they go on to say his march has been supported by many of the same figures involved in the Freedom Convoy that snarled downtown Ottawa for weeks until police used force to end what they and the government described as an illegal occupation. I'll just stop right there because I guess it's interesting. But long story short, you know, from Vancouver to Ottawa in protest for the remaining COVID-19 restrictions, and mandates. So I just thought that was pretty interesting to see. Did you happen to see anything about that?
The only thing I heard about was the traveling mandates getting lifted, and a lot of the other like workplace mandates getting lifted. Some companies even doing like recalls, like all the prior workers that they had working there that they relieved due to the fact of not being vaccinated. A lot of them are doing callbacks saying, hey, yeah, my bad. Would you like to come back?
That is incredible. I mean, do what you gotta do. So, you know, I'm always gonna be a proponent of people having a voice. At the end of the day, I have to. So, shout out James Top. It did say 4 people were arrested amid the protest, so free them people. And you know what else is dope? I mean, it's always dope to protest, but it's dope when you don't have to and when there's information and communication. So something I came across being subscribed, or I guess being signed up for the Well Simple system. If you need a referral, let me know. I'll put my little link in the bio. Sign up, get you some free stocks. But in addition to the value of, you know, investing and trading, they dropped this news article now. It's called Too Long Didn't Read. And I think it's dope. Yeah, it's like a quick,
straight to the point.
Yeah, quirky, fun, not too complex synopsis of what happened in the week. And I think that's pretty dope.
That's a clean look too.
Yeah, I was reading on the phone even, like I didn't mind it. And then they hit you with the
FOMO index.
Exactly.
Dang. I like the timeline idea.
Yeah, I have to put that on the screen. And they just talk about it.
Nah, this is heavy.
And they tell you what's happening, what's next, the outlook on crypto, stocks, because they do have the crypto services now too. So they're pretty much covering it all, and I think there's value in there. They're talking about how Powell drops his gloves. Let me go ahead and read this one. I thought this one was pretty funny. So it said, Beaver causes huge power outage in BC. Apologizes and announces plans to spend more time with his colony. And then it said, because it's kind of funny, right? But they actually have a source and a real article pertaining to that.
Wow.
And then it says more about, like, who cares? Study finds that Newfoundlanders are the happiest and British Columbians are the least happy Canadians. Disgraced BC Beaver apologizes again. Oh man, it's like nothing good can't come from BC. Oh man. So yeah, I mean, I wanted to include that as this episode's resource. It's something you can definitely pull real information from because they're pulling it from somewhere. They put all their sources in. You can click through, and it's free. So shout out Wealthsimple for their Too Long Didn't Read edition newsletter. I mean, most newsletters in your email you want to unsubscribe from, and it can become spammy and it's maybe a bit too company centric.
Heck, that's why I give out certain emails.
Facts. But this one's not one of those, and this is not an ad. So shout out to Too Long Didn't Read at Wealthsimple.
Not only that, but I got some music news for you there, sir.
What's going on?
So as we all know, my other half, we have the Caribbean side, but we also have the motherland side. And just recently, Universal Music Group, the people that are also going to give us our partnership later on in the future, just came together and created the Virgin Music label and artist services in Africa, which this is, you know how long this is outdated, fam? Like Africa's needed something like this. Reason being, there was no proper outlets for influencers, for artists, for labels, anything like that to reach out to us on the west side. So that's why doing collabs or trying to figure out how to get music from one part of here over there, or same thing vice versa, was always difficult. So now with a big conglomerate like Universal Music Group stepping in, this changes the game. So a little article here from Music Business Worldwide. So as we stipulated, they've opened up a division over there to focus on independent artists, labels, influencers, and entrepreneurs from the region. Universal launched Virgin Music label and artist services in February 2021 as a new global division serving independent artists and labels that UMG says is inspired and influenced by spirit and ethos of the iconic Virgin record label. The new division launches in Africa within excess of 15,000 titles in its catalog, with more than 50 label partners from 25 countries, which includes the likes of Kessie Publishing, Blue Diamond, Hope Music Group, Hit Lab, High Quest, and Yeye Boy. It also launches with releases from more than 100 artists, including Yosun Ndwar in DR. If I'm butchering this, please feel free to come attack me. Lokuya Kanza, Magic System.
It says amongst others, so shout out to them.
But why this is very powerful, because this is starting to connect the dots on the continent. As you know, over here on the west side, when we hear African music, everything just gets labeled into the one. Everything just gets diluted. Oh yeah, that's Afro beats. But now when you go to the continent, it's almost a slap in the face, because it's like, nah, that's Congolese, or that's Afro pop, or so I feel with this bridge, it's now going to start to glorify all these different genres. Not only that, but now we could actually see some of the artists that are capitalizing in these certain genres or these certain subgroups. So Even things like there's this style of dance which is very closely related to salsa or tango. Starts with Kimbaza or something like that. It'll come back to me. Hearing the artists that capitalize in that genre alone and now being able to get hit with the widespread is gonna shake up the African industry, and very soon you're gonna start seeing more collabs, more opportunities like that to happen. So I think this is a really, really, really big leap in the right direction for Africa as a whole.
That's dope. Shout out Universal. There's a lot of potential on the continent for sure. Um, and without further ado, of course, we have to remind y'all to pop out for the events, Blockchain Futurist Conference. When? August 9th to 10th, 2022. Where? Toronto, Canada. Rebel uh, Music Theater is what we know it as. Canada's largest cryptocurrency and blockchain event, right? Just to name a few speakers. I mean, again, inventor of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, and if we're mispronouncing any of these, we apologize. We'll see y'all down there. Ethan Buchman, co-founder of Cosmos. We got the CTO of Tether. Okay, so a lot of big names will be in the building. I mean, this page just goes on, and I'm trying to soak up the game. You can also apply to be a speaker, a vendor, and again, ETH Toronto 2.0. So don't miss out. ETH Toronto is August 8th to 10th. You can attend both. Some of the sponsors include Anchor, Hedera, Unicoin, some of the big names in the space that you've heard before. So you can expect to get some big news. Maybe some discussion about the pending Ethereum 2.0 launch that we're all waiting for. So if you want to find out, you want to be active in the crypto space, pop out for the Blockchain Futurist Conference. Once again, tickets will be in the description, and we will be there.
I'm actually pretty amped for this. One, as I said earlier, I'm trying to, hit 10 conferences before this year is done. Two, there's a hackathon happening at ETH Toronto.
Hackathon sounds dope.
What
are they trying to hack though?
So that's actually what I'm also looking forward to figure out, because they sent out a little bit of a disclaimer saying they're looking for people to sign up for the hackathon in order to get things popping. So if you yourself is either red team, blue team, or in cybersecurity space, please head to ETH Toronto, sign up for the hackathon while you still can. Don't want to miss out on this opportunity, because and it's being hosted by Vitaly himself. So
oh, that's not. Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect time to pop out for crypto finance related events when the market's down. I mean, it's when all the opportunity is supposed to be there. Okay, so that leaves us with nothing left than to discuss our hip hop segment. There's a lot of music out there.
Oh, I got a power list of music I was listening to.
I don't know if it counts as hip hop, what your boy Breezy dropped.
Nah, that was a power move. And I don't care what there's a lot of he said she said saying this was a flop for him and things like that. I know it's mainly the hardcore hip hop Toronto heads.
It sounds like marketing.
Like, yo, this is a flop, da 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 da. And then when he hit them back with the reply, I'm not sure if you seen his post the other day where he commented saying, if you're thinking this is the wrong genre, or what I'm doing is the wrong move, then you guys are still living in the past.
Yeah, catch up. We're used to that. We're used to that over there, More, there's the Lil Durk 7220 Deluxe. Pretty dope.
Super powerful.
Kevin Gates dropped his project. Got a project from Lupe.
Yeah.
Actually has some pretty interesting songs on there. French dropped 2, classic.
I actually, I'm trying to find See, I have a fleeting memory, so I had to screenshot all
Don't
the new
forget
albums I
Breezy.
came across.
Breezy drop.
Yup.
We're gonna group that in as hip hop.
Ah, here we go. My list of singles.
Jeez Louise.
Cause yeah, some albums was hitting, but yo,
And
there be some
Splurge
singles.
on the album tip. And Juicy J drop. You know, but I'm gonna just leave that right there.
Nah, that Juicy J out. Nah, that last Juicy J product with Keys and Crates. I'm not sure if you
Okay,
heard
so
that.
we're not talking about the same joint. We're not talking about the same.
Jeez, nah,
Okay,
Uncle
okay.
Juice is back, son. He all over the board.
Nah, because he did drop a project with a certain producer.
Mm,
So,
that's some fuego.
potentially.
Not only that, but
Not my favorite, though. But shout out Juicy J. What you got?
all right. So on my list, I had Saucy Santana.
With a
That-
track with Lotto?
Yup,
Okay.
that was booming. That's a speaker rattler. Then we had to get serious with the Ransom and Freddie Gibbs demise. That was hitting. My most played track right now has to go to Pharrell Williams, 21 Savage, and Tyler the Creator.
Wow. Okay.
What else we got? Nardo Wick with that Riot. That's another trunk rattler.
Mm.
And I'm happy. My boy Jid is rapping his ass off again. With that Mike Dimes Home remix. And got that Ray Shermer Denial. Not sure if you heard that one.
Yeah.
That one's moving.
They do that.
Shout outs to French Montana for that drive by.
And
Musica de Harry Fraud. I'm so happy that link up's back.
yeah, facts. That was a nostalgic feel. Oh man, I just slipped my mind. I was just gonna mention another project. I'm trying to remember now. I feel like there's something else I was bumping. Like Currency dropped too, but I mean, he was dropped.
Nah, he always dropping though. That's kind of like a given.
Yeah.
I look for the quarterly Currency drops.
You mean monthly?
Nah, I look quarterly.
Oh, there you go.
I wait till
remember.
everything piles up.
So I have a sleeper. Oh yeah, and Roddy Ricch dropped. I mean,
Yes, I'm lying. I gang.
definitely dropped. But the sleeper for me was seeing Skipper the Flipper drop. It was like a feel good project. I'm not saying it's like, the cream of the crop music, like the illest, but that's classic Migo flow.
I was about to say that's a
Good
feel.
vibes. Yeah, like just happy to see him still dropping. So that was it.
Oh, before I forget, how could I forget? One of the oh man, I'm very excited because a new festival is popping up, and hopefully this is now going to be the new ongoing annual festival. But Culture Festival, not the culture you're thinking. It's culture with a K.
Okay.
And you ready for this? Who's headlining Culture?
Ooh.
Mr. Burna Boy himself. So, August 6th, 2022.
Cultureland.ca for the Burna Boy.
Jeez.
Markham. Okay, that's dope.
Yeah, so right about now, African music is the wave all over the world.
What do you mean right about now?
Well, I'm saying it that way because it's more... I would have argued that before it was a Spanish-Latin environment, so everyone was infusing with the Latin. Then it became a dancehall infuse, so everyone was reaching for your dancehall artist. Now, it's an Afro. If you're not featuring with an Afro artist, you're not doing nothing.
And there you have it. I mean, so much potential in the motherland. So many potential listeners. And that being said, the way that music is linking up with the motherland, you have to link up with where your potential is and pop out to these conferences and events. Have some fun, mingle, meet people in your space that align with you, and keep everything validated.
Yeah, this lineup is heavy.
And stay connected with us on our Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You know, we're going crazy with the skits and all new bike tricks to our Everything Validated Productions. More information coming to you in our next episode, so make sure you stay tuned. If you had any comments, put it in the comment section so we can converse with you, respond, and keep the conversation going and keep everything validated. Did you want to let them know what's going on Reddit?
So, and right about now, we also have a Reddit community going on the up and up. Please, please, please feel free to join. We'll also be sending out we'll also be putting up a Reddit post looking for moderators so we could get our Discord community jumping and stable. Same thing over at the Reddit. Well, you can't really moderate Reddit too tough outside of our group that we will be creating, but please hit us up on Everything Validated. We'll also put all our links inside our description area there. So please join the community. Become a part.
If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button and subscribe so you can see us for next time. Hit that bell and you get notified when we drop another video.
You know, it's free.
That's a fact. Everything Validated, episode 10. What happened to Celsius? We out.
Bang. Fade to black.